This is a Thunder Game Report.
Hi, I'm Randy Renner at Chesapeake Energy Arena, where the Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves will tip it off a little bit after 6 o'clock tonight. The Thunder's worst loss of the season came in Minneapolis earlier in the year when they lost 100-81, but trailed by as many as 34 points in that game. And remember, this will be the first trip back to Oklahoma City for former Thunder six-man Kevin Martin. And Kmart is having a big year with Minnesota, averaging 23 points a game and is hitting 95% of his free throws. The big news tonight from here in the arena, Kendrick Perkins will play tonight after dislocating the left ring finger on his hand the other night. Here are Scott Brooks and Rick Adelman from the back hallway a few minutes ago.
Well, coming off a game like that, how do you keep, the Thunder from, not having a letdown, especially emotionally?
Well, it's something I have thought about the last day or so, but the thing that always comes back, we've had so many games like that. It seems like the last 4 or 5 days or games, San Antonio, the Denver game, and then or 2 nights ago. But I think our guys understand that that game is behind us. It was a great finish. It was an incredible atmosphere, but we have to focus on tonight's game, and we've always done a good job with that. I anticipate that will be the same.
Scott, this is your 6th straight game here, but a bigger part of that has been you've been home. We were talking about it on the plane flying over last night from Dallas. Since you guys got back from Denver, this will be our 8th game in our 6th different city and completing our 3rd back-to-back. So, how much of a benefit has that been for you guys to have this time, to be able to practice, to have all the games at home?
It's obviously good. Everybody's home record usually is better than the road record. That's not something I just thought of. It's nice to be home. It is nice. We have a great facility. We get a lot of good work in our practices. But being on the road is tough, but it's also a time to bond and a time to get to know your team under very tough situations and tough environments. But we love playing at home. We love our building. Obviously, we haven't lost a game, but we don't look at it that way. We just look at we want to play well in front of our crowd every night.
But it's only been a month since she's gone. It feels like a long time since that second game of the season. I know you get Russell back in this one, but where offensively do you think else this team has grown since that last game?
Well, I think early on we weren't making shots. It wasn't like that we were not passing the ball. We just weren't making any shots. And I think that happens with every team, and that happens with every player during the season. You might have 3 or 4 of those stretches. Unfortunately, we had to start the season that way. So I think that now we're making some shots. So our assist numbers are going up. Our turnovers are going down recently. Hopefully that continues. But I think as our players continue to play with one another on the offensive end, you will see better rhythm, better flow. We've had some new faces in that I think that's done a great job of integrating with some of the old faces. I think that's helped when you have time together on the practice floor and games together.
Scott, how's Perk? Is he good to go tonight?
Yes, Perk is fine. Yep.
What do you think of the addition the Wolves made with this call Luke and how he impacts their defensively?
Well, he's one of the best defensive players in the league. He can guard multiple positions. He's not just a one-position defender. He can guard bigs, he can guard smalls, he can guard probably even point guards. But yeah, he's a good player. Seems like a good team guy. Anytime you can add a good team guy, you're obviously helps your team.
Has he been successful guarding Durant and Westbrook in the past? Is he a guy who's frustrated them around the defenders?
Judge for yourself after the game tonight. I don't know. That's a fine in my locker room. I don't know. They're 2 good players. You need team defense to stop any of the good players in this league, and they're not going to play one-on-one. I like Kevin's chances on anybody in this league one-on-one, but there's 4 other guys that are helping stop Kevin and Russell.
How do you defend
seems like it's a lot more complicated than just saying, hey, get back. Sometimes you just, that's it.
It's the best I've seen, live in my 20-something years following the NBA or playing, or following is probably more important or more appropriate. It's amazing. He just has the players that are running, they're leaking out, so he has that, and he has the athleticism on the wings, but he just throws it to him like it's right on time, right on target, and it seems so easy and effortless, but that is a tough pinpoint pass to make on the fly over that much real estate, over NBA bodies. It's just phenomenal that he's able to do that at the level that he's able to do it at. I mean, I've only saw the highlights of Unseld, but yeah, I mean, I would say you always go back to Wes, but I didn't see him live, but I'm assuming that they're probably pretty close to each other.
What makes Reggie such an effective finisher?
When he gets there, he has athleticism. He just has a good way about himself, getting there, fighting off the defenders. He has long arms. He has the knack of shooting the ball before he actually gets to the rim. I think that helps him. That helps him shoot over the defender. But he's offensive minded. He loves getting around in the basket, and we put him in situations where the court is open. And like most players, if you have three-point shooters around, you have to stay on those three-point shooters, and it allows Kevin, Russell, and Reggie to get inside a paint, open paint.
Scott, are you surprised at all how well Kevin Martin has played?
No, I mean, I coached him as an assistant in Sacramento, and he played well for us here. He had a different role, and he understood that, and he excelled in it. He won 60 games last year with that role, and he was happy with it. But, we knew that we had a starter in him. He played, 30 minutes a game, and he averaged, 15. But he had moments where he had 20-something points. But when you're on a good team, you got to sacrifice, and everybody has to, and he was one of the many guys that sacrificed.
The Wolves are headed from here to Mexico City to play the Spurs in a home game. You guys went to Turkey and Spain preseason?
Turkey and Manchester.
Did you find it worthwhile experience, and what do you think of the idea of?
I loved it. I wish we can do it every year. I mean, I enjoyed being with our guys. I know we can. I think it's every 2 years. You're allowed by NBA rules, but I loved having training camp there. I thought it was important for our guys, and I thought they did a great job of getting work done. It was just not a long trip and get back. We got some good work, good practice, good shoot-arounds, and a couple of good games in.
Was it the bonding, or was there any kind of cultural experience?
Yeah, it was both. It was a combination. We had some incredible history that we were able to take in, and just being able to bond together in a different country it's you have no other choice to spend time and get along. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable. But we have guys that we get along. We have guys that like to be around each other, and I like to be around them. Hopefully, they feel the same way.
Would you feel the same as the regular season?
I did it once when I was playing for Houston. We went to Japan. We played. It's just part of the league. It's something that you have to manage and you work your way through. I've never done it as a coach, so I don't have experience on it.
It's a big difference, I think, with any team, but ours, I think for sure, when we're making shots, we're much more active, and we play a lot better, more aggressive at both ends.
And does some of that play off of playing good defense? You get better looks offensively?
Well, I think, it does, but I think for our team, offensively is what kind of keys it for us.
Rick, needless to say, Russell Westbrook changes things dramatically, but how specifically does he change the way you guys have to play this team?
Well, he's one of the best point guards in the league, and he's just attack mode all the time. He's so aggressive and athletic that you got to get back and you got to play him. You got to keep him getting to the basket, and that's a difficult thing to do. So they're a very good team with two of the better players in the league.
Rick, is your overall field goal percentage a byproduct of guys still getting accustomed to one another, feeling out what it is your system's about, that kind of thing?
Well, we haven't shot the ball very well last year or this year. We've had some guys this year, but we've been kind of up and down in that area. We continue to score, but we don't shoot the ball as well as other teams do, and it's just the way we play. And like last night, when we're shooting well, we're very difficult to guard.
Back to Westbrook for a second. Is he a guy that Bahamute can match up against, or is Bahamute more a Durant guy?
Both, I hope. We have, him and Corey that will match up with him, and Ricky will obviously match up with Westbrook. It's just something we'll see as the game rolls on. But he certainly, I think, has the ability to do it. You can match up with him, but you got to contain him.
You played Luke and Dante together a good bit down the stretch. You imagine that as a combination you can use a lot together?
It depends on the game and how things are going. I mean, we had the lead, and I like Dante on Nowitzki last night. He's very active. It kind of forces them to play Nowitzki or Blair last night on Kevin Love, and that's not a good matchup for them. So I did that last night and didn't plan on playing Luke in the fourth quarter that much, but the way the game went, I liked the way those guys were playing, and I think you'll see those guys in the court a lot. It helps us defensively, but we have to score at the other end. That's always the danger. You got to be sure you get shots at the other end.
You mentioned that you foresee. Are there many or any situations where you could use all three of those guys, Corey, Dante, and Luke together? Or?
Well, I think so. Yeah, I was going to bring Corey back too, but again, like I said, it's the scoring end of it. You got to, like last night, you got to make sure Kevin Martin's on the floor the way he was shooting the ball. So it's just a feel for the game that you have as the game goes on. I mean, that's really what it's going to be. But I certainly wouldn't hesitate to play them together. But it's going to take us some time to get a feel for what we're going to run at the other end.
How does it feel to have more defensive options?
Yeah, it definitely helps. I mean, we're always worried about, the defensive matchups, and it just gives us one more guide. I think with Dante and with Luke, Luke can play the four against some teams too. He's big enough and strong enough, and you can do a lot more switching with those guys when they're on the floor. And so it just helps you overall as a team.
Does the fact that you've continued to score, even though your shooting's been erratic, does that underscore the importance of getting to the free throw line?
Well, we have to. Yeah, we've got to get to the line. We have two guys. Kevin Martin shoots 90 plus, and Kevin Love shoots 85. So, if we get to the line, we're a lot better off. But it's some of it is the fact that we are all new to each other, like a lot of teams. We're a young team. Sometimes our shot selection isn't what you would desire, but you've got to kind of play with that and go with it. And I think as the season goes on, we're hoping we're going to get better in all those areas and we become more efficient. So it's just something you don't worry about the first 20 games, but then as the season rolls on, you hope we get a lot better.
When a team has a player like Nick Collison who accepts his role and excels at it for so many years with the same team, what impact can that have on the franchise and the roster?
Oh, Nick's a terrific player, I think. I mean, he comes in, he does his job, he does all the dirty work, he plays. He's not like he can't play offensively. He can't shoot the ball. He'll offensive rebound. What's good about a guy like that is very seldom does he hurt you. He usually only helps you or maintains what's going on.
How come we don't see more guys try to do that and just embrace one role and stick to that for a couple of years or several years?
It's a good question. I think the guy has to be willing to accept it and understand who he's listening to. There's a lot of guys in this league, I think if they did far less listening to agents and everything else and just realize what they can do for a team, they can play in this league for 12, 14 years if they're doing it effectively. And sometimes young guys and everybody else, they all want it right away. And they don't develop a skill, and I think he has developed a skill and he's accepted it. And he's going to be playing this league a long time. And you'd like to see more young guys accept the fact. You move up to our league, not everybody's going to be a star, but you all can have a pretty good living if you just realize what your strengths are.
Well, as you can tell, Rick Adelman has a lot of respect for the game that Nick Collison brings, and Collison, as usual, will play a big role for the Thunder tonight. We'll be here post-game as well for interviews from the podium and inside the Thunder locker room. So stay right here with us after tonight's T-Wolves Thunder game on ThunderGameReport.com.